All right. Let's see. Oh man. It's konnichiwa time, but I can't stop the things that I've set in motion. Let's do some blending. Okay, so this is what I've got going on here. I have this idea for a fantasy 3D kind of thing. I've been working on a soundtrack for a while, and I'm like, oh man, I need something to go with this. So it's like, I'm gonna make like a low poly man, and I started with his feet, which are my favorite part so far, and his calves are next, and then his thighs. They're very good. They're good thighs. I modeled them well. Let's smooth these out of the way so you can see the model that oh no! So you can see the model that I've been working on. Damn it! How do I do it? Oh, object mode. I'm learning to use Blender. Move him this way. Okay, so we've got this guy right here. I really liked his limbs, but the upper body started to get too detailed or whatever. I don't know, it's just like, it doesn't work nicely with the rest of his body, so I think I'm gonna start over. I was really pleasantly surprised when I put everything back together and I could see, like, oh, like, look at that. Like, his knees and feet are about in the right place. He doesn't have quite, like, the right mass, and I don't know how to connect the shoulders and arm to the torso yet, and, like, face and neck, that's gonna be a little difficult, but, let's see. I mean, like, you can see it right here, like, nice back, but what's going on here? Oh, man. But, like, the outline was pretty good. I was surprised at how little adjusting I had to actually do once I added the reference images to let's get it looking about right. So let's start over. I think I saved him. All right. Okay. Well, this is. I know what I want to do for like his lower limbs and junk. I don't think I'm going to forget that. I think I'm going to start with the more difficult bit, the torso. So I'm going to load up those reference images again. I'm going to go to my front view, right? Front ortho. And I'm going to button my sleeves so that they stay up. It's going to work. Get up. Okay, let's see. Front. I'm really playing a lot of this by ear because I've never done I don't know, it's been a long time since I've done any blending. I know this is the side view. Pretty sure this one's the front. I have a great habit of labeling my pictures. Nope, that's for swords. Let's try that again. I don't know which one is older. Let's try this one. Still no. We'll get it eventually. There we go. Okay. We've got our mans. Let's switch to wireframe. I love this. Like, I love how it centers right on his sexy bastard underwear. It says that. It says sexy bastard. Anyway. So his shoulders are a little tilty, so I'm gonna line up with like the center of his collarbone. Start there. And just from the, you know what, actually, yeah, I'm gonna add in the other picture as well. And that'll just be like upper body. Mostly for scale. This is facing correctly. That'll do it. Okay, now let's scale this correctly. Don't know why, like, the, there we go, okay. I don't think I really picked a good... That's not too bad. I'll say maybe a little bit, like right down his ear. This is already interesting. You can see like his inside of his elbow geometry there is like right in line with his ear. That's cool. These are two different people. So I'm gonna have to like do a little bit of guesswork aligning like their nipples or whatever to get everything right. It wasn't hard though once I just need to scale him up a little bit so you can see like those are basically in line. And their head geometry is just a little bit different. But this looks pretty close. I'm looking at the curve in the waistband right there. Anyway, this is just like for reference, so. Alright, I'm actually gonna just move this kind of out of the way. Just one. So I'm gonna move this one back along its axis so that like I can go to the front and be like, oh, that's the front, and then go to the side and I'll move him like this way. So that once I get this back into place. How did I do that before? Absolute grid snap. So yeah, there we go. Love that. Okay. So I'm seeing kind of an overall. Here, I'll yeah, like man shoulders. And say that we've got just kind of this like curvy line. Arms, hips, or whatever. So you've got this like boop, 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 boop. So what I'm probably gonna do is like take the cube, scale it like this so it's kind of flat, and then like subdivide it about here. And probably do that twice, or like loop cuts. and then kind of rotate around some point like here to get this arc. So it'll be like around here. And you'll end up with like a type 5. And then shoulders I usually see as kind of like a cutaway here. So this will like come in. And it'll be symmetrical. I'm going to mirror it. So let's start there. So I'm going to start with a cube, going to scale it down to approximately the right dimensions. A little bit thinner than that. A little bit forward. Kind of rotate it. Move it up. And then we'll go to front view. Do the same thing. So I'm going edit mode. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is a cool little trick that I learned from a tutorial a day or two ago. Which one is it? Ah, mirror. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, and then we'll do clipping. And for one or another reason, he removed this interior face here, so I'm just gonna do that. I don't know if Blender does that for you automatically when it clips them together, but let's do that. Fabulous. Okay, so now we've got like roughly this kind of thing going on. So now I can just edit one side, and what I was doing on the other model was like coming up with, oh no, you can't see it. I messed up the whole. Okay, all right. So let's see. I'll just go through this again. Started with the cube. All I did was I took the cube and I rotated it a little bit, and then I did. You can see that. You can see that on the side. This add modifier, mirror, then clipping, and throughout I'm going to like turn clipping on and off. It's cool because once things are clipped together, they don't unmerge. And like when you turn clipping back on, things that are still separated don't suddenly connect in some way, so it's very convenient. Okay, so let's start doing our geometrizing. Looks about right. Something like that. We're about in the same spot. This can come in a little. Oh. I want to make sure to get both vertices. And his arm is in the way, so we can't really quite see what his back is doing, but we can imagine. We can kind of imagine. It looks like it actually comes out to about there. Probably like. So I'm going to move this kind of over here. Start doing some loop cuts. I wonder if there's a way that I can change the opacity of this like shading, even though it's in wireframe, it's still kind of like tough to see the. I wonder if I can change like the contrast on a reference image. Let's check that out. Let's learn together. So what do I have here? I don't know what's what here. I'm making guesses. Oh. No. No. Okay. Well, I tried. Excuse me. Let's go here. Bring it up to his collarbone. What I was gonna do was kind of like do some rotating, but I kind of have like a grasp for how to. Although this part I might actually do that because it's a neat little trick. 3D cursor, but like. See what happens. So I changed the focal point of this rotation. And this is kind of what I was like getting at with that. Yeah, that's all right. Cool. And we can still do loop cuts because I haven't significantly changed his geometry. You're probably one there. I'll. It's a good thing I noticed that, oh yes, oh that's good, I like that. I didn't think to do that last time. Like bring it up to his neck. I like stopped just under his shoulders and it's kind of a disaster. And give him like a hint of a shoulder blade, like that. So in the spirit of keeping it like low poly, what I'm just trying to go for is like starting with a cube and subdividing it like gently, like only a couple. I think probably to like it looks like he sliced 4 ways, once, twice, 3, 4 into 4 slices rather, slice 3 times, whatever, and kind of do that along each axis. I don't know if I'm gonna do one there. But let's try his front. I'm gonna do that rotating thing again because it's useful here. Let's see. That's the wrong one. There we go. Huh. Not quite what I want, but interesting anyway. Yeah. Okay, so what I've learned so far is that this is like the pivot point, as it's called, and when you're in like ortho perspective, like aligned to the axes, you can get really nice. It's just helpful for things like that rotation trick that I was doing. Let's go. Let's bring this down and forward a little bit. I'm thinking like I'll make this plane right here, like the kind of upper face of the pectorals, and this like the lower, like the little edge. Kind of like that. Bring this in a little. I feel like he needs like another subdivision, but just trying to keep this fairly minimal. Let's go from the front. This all needs to come in. I keep hitting the wrong button for which axis to like go to because I accidentally built it sideways in the previous version as well. About that. I feel like these need to come down. Down and forward, maybe. It's weird. Yeah, we could do a loop cut along the side. Okay. And aside from like his head, this is probably the most detailed I want to be. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna do something just while I'm thinking about it. Let's delete these two vertices so that we don't have a face on the bottom, partially to remind myself just like fill that in later. Curves. Bring this in just a hair. Love a spine. Getting there. Oh, this bothers me though. What's it look like from the front? Okay, so this should be like kind of like that. This can come forward, and this will be right. I got the front. Yeah, I did. That little like bulge around the belly button, basically. This needs to come down. Might help things a little bit. I'm so conflicted about. Oh, it's a little better. Yeah, that's not too bad. Bring these in. It's getting closer. Bring this maybe back. Gonna kind of see what I'm doing there, making the middle kind of protrude out. Giving it kind of this, like if you ever looked at a, it's funny, like a cross section of a CAT scan or an MRI or whatever, there's kind of this. Let's see if I can. So like if this is the front, there's kind of this like, there's two lobes-ish, and then the rib cage kind of protrudes, and you got this spine here. So I'm creating these edges by bringing this stuff in from the initial box that we started with. Alright, and I'll remember to let's think for a second. Okay, let's get back to it. Alright. Alright, and this needs to back a little. Oh, that's nice. I mean, like, even with such small subdivision, we get this, like, detail. I forget what these muscles are called. I took, like, an anatomy course in college, and I just don't remember. The two big, like, cords up the back. I don't have a back reference image. I couldn't find one where the dude wasn't, like, flexing his shoulder muscles super hard. It's like, alright. Bring these down, create some. This center bit right here will probably disappear. I'll probably take this out. In fact, I'll just do it right now so that it's not there later. And what I'm doing is like, cause we're in wireframe, so we can't really see it too well. Oh, it's getting there. I want to move this in a little bit though. Oh, a lot. Doesn't look right. I'll go back to that. This is what I was talking about before when I removed the vertices at the bottom here. I was creating this like hollowed out area to be like, remember to connect this to something later. He's got a pelvis, as we can see. That's a little bit more. How does that look? Let me make that wireframe kind of similar. You can see these edges go up a little bit higher. I think this, I don't know how far off the scale is, but oh no, I think they're back from the dog park. That's okay. Move this far a little bit. Because like your abdominals protrude a little bit in that way. I switched it back. I switched the camera back. Let's see that where it is. That's roughly where it needs to be for the time being. I'm gonna bring this point in because when I do the arms, I don't want them to like overlap. I think it'll, yeah, it's a little better. This doesn't look totally right yet, but we're getting there. I love the Lofi stuff. I was very pleased to discover it on a list of things that you could stream with. I'm like, oh, you can use the Chillhop stuff. I was like, what? Unbelievable. So this picture is kind of cut off at his hips, so we don't have any reference for how that goes, but we can make some guesses and approximations. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll just move on to legs now, because why not? I don't know if I'm gonna really like model the pelvis very much. I might do like oh, where's the cursor? There it is. Might do like here's the body, there's his back, and for the pelvis do like start with a cube tilted so that it's like pointed forward or whatever. But you know, same like bringing it in, kind of subtractive idea that I've been going with so far. Boot. Something I'm noticing with the thighs is like this kind of shape here. So you got like, this is the upper thigh, this is kind of like around the back. You've got this, and then you've got the what, the quadriceps, kind of divide this shape up like that, but it's this nice diagonal cut, kind of looks like a cubic prism. So I'm just gonna start with that shape for now. I'll probably subdivide it, bring it up here, and get like so it bows out a little bit. Does that make sense? Don't look at me like that, sir. So I'm gonna add a cube. And this is what I was talking about in the add modifier section, the mirroring. I turn off the clipping so that doesn't clip these two shapes together. And I'm moving to the other side. I don't know if that's going to be overall a beneficial thing for me or not. because it might make things harder to connect, but in the spirit of being a little bit abstract, I don't know if I'm going to connect. I don't know if I'm literally going to connect all of the geometry together, because I think it's kind of interesting to have like a, just like as a style thing, like just have the limbs like disconnected at the joints, because I think you can get the picture, and I think it's like a unique look that I haven't really seen in a lot of places. But what I've done is I'm starting to work on the opposite side of the body, the opposite side of his body now, because that way I can select like this whole piece of geometry and not select any of the stuff in the upper body, even though that geometry is like there. It's created by the modifier, so I'm not selecting vertices, and it just makes my life a little bit easier. So a little trick that I picked up within the past couple of days, something like that. What I really wanted to do is rotate these though, something like that. I'm gonna start over. I talk too much. Okay. These are where they are. Scale them down. I'm gonna do like a global scale first, and then I'll stretch them out again. There you go. Guesswork. This is about right. A little bit less. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from the top and rotate them this way about 45 degrees. I find that that works really well for like organic shapes in a low poly setting, is like rotating them by 45 degrees, and then say you have like stuff that has a clear like frontmost point is rendered that way, and if you just like picture the limbs as cubes stretched and rotated that way, it makes like composition just a little bit easier. So I'm going to do loop cut. I'm going to bring it up about here. Maybe that was a little hasty of me. From this image, you can see like his legs are going to start tilting like forward just a little bit. And we'll probably look at another reference image at some point to determine if that's like really the case. But for now, that angle looks about right. I'm going to bring up this front point. I'm actually going to rotate all of these and probably like manually stretch them a little bit. About above center, yeah. Let's see what that did for us. Not a whole lot, but that'll do it. That's good. I like that. Bring this up a little bit. I'm not identically matching the legs because he's not weighting them symmetrically. Like his body is a bit askew. So I'm just kind of like looking at them for reference, and I can see that the, oh, whoa, what did I do? Thick thighs. What can I see? It's explaining something. You can see that there's kind of a point right above the knee, like that is this little intersection right here. And you cut like this and you get your cubic thing, and this will be like ultimately the back of the knee. I'm gonna bring these both in considerably, but just like a little bit at the same time. And this doesn't look totally right. So I'm just gonna make it a little bit more conical. Overall, this looks... It's just stretched a little bit too far back. Okay, full selection. Looks a little better. I don't know how to model a butt. I don't know how to do butts yet. I don't know how I'm going to do that here. And it's not too bad. Yeah. Maybe move these up. What did that do for us? Nice. Eh. Alright. Oh, whatever. Let's go to the lower legs. Shift and middle mouse will pan us. Now we're rotating about a point lower than our lovely model's pelvis. And we're going to do that again. Another cube. Clipping, it should still be off, pretty sure. Yeah. So I'm going to move it down. Going to center it. Scale. That's not quite what I wanted. This is very relaxing. Oh, okay, this is the other... Oh, shoot. Yeah. Alright. I might want to redo this, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to redo these, because, similarly, for calves, I kind of... Okay, you got, like, this... You got, like, say this is your shin, and you've got this, like, swoopty, and, like, the center of mass, and then it thins out, and then you got your foot over here. So it makes sense to go start with, like, a kind of a... like one of these. So I'm gonna take a cube, rotate it up this way, and this point right here will be like this-ish. Should use different colors, I have them. This point right here will be about there. And then the rest of it will kind of just be stretched, pulled down. And that'll be our calf. And then I'm going to show you what I did for the foot. That really, I like, honestly, when I started the other model, I started with his foot. And that's kind of the inspiration that I'm going with for the whole body. Okay, so let's go to 3, our side-along perspective, which is well below our reference image. Add a cube. Oh, forgot all about that. Okay. Just want one of those. Rotate it. Thereabouts. Scale it considerably. Recenter. And come around to the front again. From above, actually. Rotate it so that, I don't know whether ankles kind of Well, let's look at our man. It's hard to tell if they kind of generally point inward more or not. I think it's a little bit inward, so start with. Yeah, that looks about right. Scale it down some more, especially this way. And it's gonna give us kind of a warped, but already that looks kind of okay. So I'm gonna go from front. I'm going to try and align. Which one is the front? Okay, this is the back. Bring these in. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like this at all. I might try and get the calves from the other model. But like you can see that this looks kind of about right for some calves. If you've ever like seen somebody with really big calves, that's what they look like. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Okay. Move this forward so that kind of lines up with the knee a little better. So what I was looking for was basically like how does the very front of the thigh down through the knee connect with the line at the front of the shin, and then where is most of the mass behind that? Like a little bit inside, but it kind of man, I don't know how to like explain this. Okay, and these are way too far forward. Surprisingly, everything else looks like decent-ish. I will probably move on from the calves and return to them when I have the feet. Just in a sec. That's pretty cool. But you can see though, like I kind of ended up with the same problem. I subdivided like the torso a whole lot more than anything else, so the level of detail is just like, I don't know, it just looks a little bit more excessive. And I don't know how to do, oh, there we go. Don't know how to do like a whole, I know there's a button for subdivision, but I don't know what all that is gonna do for me. Right now, I'm kind of just giving some swelling, giving him some swelling in the legs, which will match some bulging in the legs, and I think that level of subdivision will match the torso a little bit better. Let's see what we got here. About right, ish. So we'll do kind of the same business with the calves. Let's see. This is interesting. The music. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before and just delete this vertex so it's like out of the way. And excuse me. Relative to everything else, I'm going to do that kind of bulging business again. And I'll probably overall have to, yeah. Get out. Something like that. The only thing for me is it looks kind of more like I'm making a suit of armor than like a dude's leg. You know what I mean? I'm armoring his leg, not modeling his leg. but that's just too bad. Move these two down a bit. I don't know if that's actually... Oh, Weird. Oh, you know what I did before? What I actually did with the dude's legs is I merged all these points. Let's see what happens if I, Yeah, and then that just, like, looks weird. So it's like, I'm having trouble kind of uniting the... Here, save this, and I'll show you what... Show you what in one looks like. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. See, like, I started out with a, like, you can see it, even. I started out with a cube with the top face. Like, you can't see physically where I'm pointing, but my cursor's there, pointing out this way, like along this normal. And then stretched the rest of it. And I think that's a lot more true to, like, the style that I'm going for. I already think I did a little bit better of a job with, like, the chest, though. Okay, and 2. So... yeah. Once again, I'm gonna make another cube and just start this all over. Oh, but I don't know if I want to. At this point, it's different. I just need to... I need to keep a consistent style. I think I'll probably go back and, you know, try it another time. So I'll get... Right now I have a slightly higher poly version of what I want to do, but I'm gonna finish it in this, like, slightly higher poly way. Just to, like, follow through and help, you know, make a consistent model. I'm going to start this similarly, though. Okay, this is what I did with the feet. They were like this. They were, like, rotated 45 degrees or so. A little bit more, maybe, or less, depending on which direction you're going from. Flattened out a whole bunch. Scaled in. Flattened out, blah, 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 blah. And then this front point is, like, kind of where the big toe is going to be. And then this will be the inner, like, ball of the foot. Okay. Let's go up. Up. Let's align. Okay. And I'll just, like, start from here. Nope. Already not what I want. Okay. Shit. There we go. Hopefully I didn't just move around a bunch of stuff that I didn't really want to move. Let's see. I'm really... happens a lot, because I think my monitor is kind of low compared to my seat. So I tend to really compress, and I realize, like, I'm letting out these just horrendous gasps of air, like these really stressed out, very tense. That's not what I wanted. Kind of emotive sighs. Alright, let's do some More of that cutting. Don't know about that. Oh, yeah, this is what I'll do. So I'm gonna move this. Maybe in just a little bit. Kind of get that, like a bowed shape that feet have. This will be heel. God, I love Chillhop. Okay, let's see. This is gonna be a little higher. This is a little low. This overall will be like really low. Kind of slope down from the big toe. And then back out. Whew. Something's not sitting right with me yet about the, how's this all look? I guess real feet have a little bit more depth than I gave them, so I'll just make these a little bit larger. Need to turn on wireframe. That's another thing that I just learned. If you have it set to like the solid mode, you can only select vertices that aren't occluded by the geometry that you're working with. Okay, let's give him bigger feet. Yeah, that looks slightly better. This doesn't work for me yet. I'm still waiting for something to be like, you know how like you're working on something and you're like, yeah, dude, I did it. I don't know if I'm gonna get one of those moments with this, but it's alright with me at this point. That does do, okay, this is the thing, like, I don't like about 3D stuff, but I guess it's just a stumbling block. It's like, we have a quad right here, but it's built out of 2 triangles, and like, I don't know how Blender decides which line it's going to create. Is it between this point and this point, or between this point and this point? So I end up wanting to just do it manually, because I don't know if that line is transmitted the same way all the time once you export. I'm sure it is, but just because I'm paranoid, let's explicitly create a face here. Using shift to select, I'm going to unselect, and I'm going to hit here, and then hit F button, which will either create a line or create a face, depending on what you got going on. I kind of want to bring this point right here back. Maybe this point down. This point down. Just don't think that's really how feet look. But that's not bad. I mean, like, looking from above, it like looks about right. It's just this, like, the scale and the, let's do this. Move these over a little bit. I mean, it looks like realistic. There's something still not totally right about it, but I think it gets the point across of like person. And now what I'm going to start doing here is actually merging a couple of these vertices so that I can connect. I have, oh, okay. This is one of those scenarios where I actually am going to have to mirror about the axis. And this is a bit of a process, so I'm going to set the, I mean, I'm sure there's actually like a shortcut to mirror geometry about the axis, but I don't know what it is. So I set the anchor point to just about the center, and I'm going to scale in the X direction, and then while I'm holding it, I'm going to type -1, and that didn't do what I expected it to because I got my anchor point set in the wrong place, so set it to the 3D cursor, there we go. -1, and it'll flip it about the axis, and now I can stitch these two together. So this is what I was trying to say. I'm going to take these quads, basically, and turn them into triangles, and I've got 3 vertices on the foot itself, maybe 4. I might use this one to kind of stitch everything together. And now that they're on the same side, now that the explicit points, rather than the generated points, are on the same side, I can do that. So let's set our anchor point back to the bounding box. Probably going to keep like this point right here. So I'm going to, that's okay, because I have to at center. I'll do it. And that'll be our shin bone. And then these next 2, I'm going to merge in the same way with Alt-M, and then hit at center. And I'm going to manually adjust this geometry again in a second. And these 2, Alt-M, at center. I don't fully know what the other options do. At cursor is like you have the cursor set somewhere specific. At last, at first, I have no idea. Oh, like in the number of, in the points that you've selected, like which point. Okay, and then collapse. I don't know what collapse does, really. I assume that it. I don't know. I actually don't know. Oh, that broke it. So, don't know if we can actually merge these. Oh, there we go. Oh, I think I hit at center. Anyway, now this face should still be gone, right? Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. On the foot, I'm going to select this quad, hit delete, and hit faces. And now I will stitch together all of this, one quad at a time. And then I'll probably adjust these like tubes made by connecting the feet to the ankles. Like you can see them starting to, they're gonna look really weird. Maybe not that weird, but I mean, this is a great opportunity to create the appearance of like an ankle bone as well. We've got these weird like bumps. My art teacher once said like, you know, like being a great artist is not making mistakes, but learning to cover them or use them as Bob Ross would say, like happy accidents. It's basically that, like this weird like bit of geometry that we have here, we can use actually to create some more detail. So I'm gonna bring this in because I like that, and this needs to move a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, okay. These kind of overall need to move a little bit. This is gonna be a little hairy. I might need. Huh. Okay. This needs to come out. It still looks a little bit big. Like that foot. I think the front is just a little bit too far forward, so I'm going to move it back. Move these front. Oh, damn it. Move these front points back a hair. Till they look about right. Seems right, I would say. I have an anatomy book that I'm thinking about going and grabbing in the garage. So I might do that quick before returning. I almost want like another layer of subdivision in the center, this line right here, but I don't think I can make that cut anymore. Well, let's see what happens if I do this. I don't know how to use like the knife. Looks like I kind of did it. That just looks so sloppy though. I don't like that at all. But how do we use it? What happened? Like, how do I do? Enter? Enter does apply it. Okay. So now I know. Do we have any variants? I want now to... Oh, okay, alright, so I have like 4... Okay, this is my strategy now. I'm going to take these 4... Which 4 points? Shit. I don't know. I don't have like a kneecap. He doesn't really have a kneecap. I'm thinking I might, when I stitch these, the thigh and the calf together, which I'm gonna have to mirror the geometry again, but that's okay. Honestly, actually, that's pretty good. That's probably a good thing too, because it's a very useful exercise to like draw a face and then mirror it about an axis, and it gives you like a whoa, like wow, if the face wasn't oriented that way, I wouldn't have noticed like what a huge skew you sometimes like put on it just by connecting lines. Like the geometry like looks right as lines, but then you flip it about an axis and it's like, oh my god. So I think I can kind of get the same effect here. Anyway, where's our, yeah, okay, it's still there. So we're gonna scale, go about X. That's not gonna do it because our reference point, pivot point, there we go. So -1, flip it, fabulous. And I gotta figure out which points I want to merge, because I'm thinking of using like the 5 at the top here, these 5, these like 5, that's like 6. I maybe 6, because that way I can keep the calf in the back with this like definition and shape. You know what? Actually, this needs to like move just a little bit. I'm definitely like moving between different stages, maybe a little bit excessively, like the composition stage and then the stitching together stage, but I'm okay with that. So yeah, once I stitch these two pieces together, the thigh and the calf, I'll have another one of those like ridges, and I can use that to create geometry for the knee, like kneecap. So I have to decide what I want to get rid of here. I think I'm going to use all of these. Hello.
Hello.
Get rid of the faces. That seems about right. Like if you've ever like looked at your calf bone, felt that a little bit, it kind of protrudes in a similar way, so I think we're on the right track. Okay, so I have 8.7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points on the thigh and 6 points on the calf, so I'm going to have to merge merge two pairs rather, in the thigh, and I think maybe these two. Which two? I like this line a lot. Yeah. I think this is what I'm going to do. I'll merge these two. And this will be ending up connecting with. Okay, so I'm going to merge these two. And so, let's see how that goes. What I'm probably going to end up doing, in fact, is like instead of creating a new line here, I might merge some of these as well. Oh, but that looks good right there. I'm gonna pause for a second and just check and see what my friends are up to. I'll be back in a moment.
Yeah. Can I open? What?
Oh.
You walked out. So, I tried a new mood up at the gym today. What? Tried a new mood? Yeah. Yeah. Didn't go so well. No. My face got intimate with the turf. Oh. Got rubber in here.
Yeah, like my bird. That's nice.
I like how right on time, literally face planted.
Okay. Let's go for going over and getting the creamsicle. What do we got over here? Oh, dominoes.
Yeah, there's dominoes over here too.
I'm looking at coupons. I'm not even very good anymore, but
Yeah, well, I don't know if these are good anymore either. This is the thing I keep us to.
I know somebody who works at Domino's. Oh, I don't know which one she works at. Probably this one on 19.
They all say we're going to turn off our
BLA. Date.
Yeah.
The time that it's limited to.
Yeah. Yeah, they all just say we're going to turn off.
That's too much bread. Yes. All right, you work tomorrow? Oh, that's what I just did. I forgot about it. Yeah, I left it off part earlier.
I went to, where did you borrow from?
Thanks.
Yeah, Scott, oh, see, they're open at much more convenient times than checking. And checking goes got an automated payment system that you can call and use your debit card to pay, but it's only available during resort hours.
Scott might have that too. I never checked.
They don't, yeah.
I
They'll
was like,
deposit it in your account and then charge you.
yes,
But they don't, but you can't pay back that way.
yeah, I thought you probably couldn't. So there's a bank, Wells Fargo, right across the road from there. I said, okay, they're probably open till drive-through is probably open late on Fridays. Oh no, it's only open till 6. I got there at 9 minutes after 6.
Yeah. They called me and I was in the middle of something and I was just like, all right, I'll call back a little bit. And then I got home and I was like, oh, it's 106. Shit.
I did have, I was able to get the money from the machine because even though I got the money already today, I went inside and got it. The ATM was awesome. So I guess that doesn't count. The limit.
It's just your debit.
Well, I use the debit card when I go in instead of writing a check.
But
But it
you
doesn't
go
count.
up to the counter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it just counts, even though you're using your card. All right.
Alright, let's dive back in. Once I have my phone somewhere where I can charge it and easily access it. My friends and I are trying to decide where we're going to eat tonight. We're thinking a sushi joint, but one of my friends doesn't like sushi very much, so we'll have to see how that goes. Alright, let us resume. Transition. Where were we? We were looking at knees. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn it down just a hair. Just for me. Maybe I'll turn it back up for you guys just a hair. I don't know how much. I'm gonna have to listen to this stream later and see how much the music competes with my voice, but for the time being, I'll still do it. I might not talk as much for this segment, just because I think the talking and explaining energy has left my body. But hopefully, just by watching me act, there might be something. This sliver is just too small, so I might merge these. But it's not safe. It's okay. Oh, this is great. This is a great kneecap opportunity. It's got that quad here. This triangle's already defined, right? It's not. I don't know what that means. I don't know what this... Oh. Yeah, no, I don't know what that means. Maybe it's because I was hovering with the image or something. Yeah, the more that I'm looking at it, the more I want to get rid of this. So I'll just merge at last. Let's try that. Ugh. Shit. Merge at Alt-M at last. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do it. Okay. Alright. That's, not the worst thing I've ever seen. Just kind of want to move this up a little. I've like looked at the back of people's knees before, but I just don't know. I'm very satisfied with this actually. Like looking at it now, all stitched together, like that was, I think maybe that right there was the moment, because I'm like, I can see the leg coming together. But this up here is going to be maybe a little bit more of a challenge. What else can I do? I think I know what I need to do. Yeah, I do. I'm going to turn clipping back on again so that we get this happening. Scale this down significantly. Don't. Sure. Oh, okay. So what I need to do is like that, and then delete that interior face still, I guess. This whole cube needs to be like, there you go. What's it gonna do? Another thing that I know about like pelvic geometry, I guess, is that it kind of, there's like a cup like shape where it like tilts forward, like the pelvis is generally like that. And oh yeah, like if you look at this line right here on our gentleman models undies, you can see it kind of forms this like angle because that's where like the hips, just like the top of the hips, and then they just like swoop down. And then I'm gonna have to stitch all this together with the torso geometry that I already have. So I'm going to get rid of this top edge, which will hollow out the top face, and then I can just stitch it together. Because really what I need is that like cup saddle situation. Yeah. Oh yeah, much there. I'm gonna move this back, and I'll recenter it in a moment. Yeah, this is a creative use of space. Let's just do that. Front, back, shift pan, down, descend. Oh shit. Ugh. This is gonna be such a pain. Like I'll probably have to, I could, in the future, I probably could do this as like a separate object. Like all these separate parts would probably be like separate objects, but you know, just working it out. So right now I'm just getting the scale about right, and this will be like interior thigh or whatever. Like right here. It's not even interior thigh yet. It just kind of merges with the interior thigh. Yeah. Again, like the back, I'm gonna have to look at a pelvis. Like I'm gonna have to look at a skeleton to fully grasp what I'm doing here. Demo. Yeah. Alright, let's see what happens. No, actually this isn't ready yet. I'm going to remove the bottom. No, keep the bottom, remove the sides. Yeah, where this is gonna get before I do that, I'm gonna do some loop cuts. Maybe just one on each. Funny, because like the pelvis is gonna end up being like the highest poly region on our gentleman. Oh, but that's not bad. That's already not bad. Okay. But could probably use one of those -1. Oh no, it didn't work. Oh, because clipping is still on. So let's try that again. -1. Bam. And I mostly did that because we're stitching this to the upper body, not the legs yet. So when it comes time to stitch to the legs, I'll mirror it again and work from there. So what I'm in fact going to do is merge pairs of points instead of connecting them. And that'll,
I'll be back in minutes.
okie doke. Yeah, I'll do it like that. Last. Bing, bing, bing. Could have sworn I did them in the reverse order. Oh, this is so nice. This is actually working out really nicely. I'm probably going to do something cheap, like make his head a television. Because I don't know how to... I mean, faces are hard drawing them in the first place. I don't know how a sculpting one is going to be. Anyway, at last. I guess that's how you do about it. Look at that, it's perfect. Last. Oh, you know, I wonder if my normals are all facing the right direction because of that because of the way that I've been flipping the geometry. I wonder if the normals flip for whatever reason. How did it? There's two ways to do it. You can look at the normals themselves, which appear to be actually, as I thought, inside out. Wow. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, all the ones that I flipped about an axis are... Oh, it's a pain in the ass. You see these lines are on the inside, but that's okay. I'll work that out later. Right now, I'm just working on geometry. So let's... Laughable. The front's okay, though. Let's see how well it syncs up with... Yeah, that's not too bad. Oh, clipping, though. Let's fix this. Just gotta move it over to the side a little. I love an alarm clock in music. Bounding box. Let's see. This. Ah! I don't know what to do with this yet. I don't know what to do with this stuff. You know what? Actually, I think I might. I think I might know what to do. There almost needs to be like one more loop cut kind of here so I can curve all this around, but it's okay. I'm gonna merge these two because that feels appropriate. Merge these two right at the bottom. At center. And then those are probably gonna link up with one of the leg joints, and I'm not even gonna bother too much with the geometry after that. But this is all I was gonna do. Make a loop track. He's got one now. It just looks like he has no ass. Is he cursed to live this way with no ass? We'll see. Let's see what I can do with that lip cut. I can put one there. I don't know if it's necessary yet. It is necessary. So I'm gonna do it like that. Okay. I'm gonna delete this vertex to make merging with the leg a little bit easier. And I'm gonna have to do a little bit of abstract thinking. Let's see what this looks like. That's not far off. I'm surprised. I'm pleased, actually, with that. Probably pull these couple points down. I think I'm gonna last another 45 minutes or something before we decide to go out and do our thing. This is like super weird because like the hips are starting to make a little bit more sense because they like kind of protrude out over the. Overall, this is like a little bit low. He's not looking too bad. It's not looking too shabby. I just had a moment where I was like, oh man, I hope I remembered to bring the screen back around. My setup for monitoring the stream is set up kind of out of my field of view, so I have to really turn to look at it, but oh, you man is getting tired. Wake him up. Make me some coffee, please. Take out this vertex for stitching purposes. All right, and I think it's about time to mirror the leg around, and this will be nice because it'll be the whole entire leg. I love it when it's like, okay, you got like these many parts done, and now it's time to do, you know, almost half of the total geometry that you have. Like, that's pretty cool. I wonder, is there a vertex counter? Like, 53 out of 104. Yeah, that's over half of the geometry that I have so far. I think probably not including the, I don't know, cube, vertices, edges, faces, triangles. I don't know. Anyway, so our normal is looking to be all fucked up, but it'll be okay. So 3D cursor, which should still be in the right place, is gonna about X, and we're gonna go -1, and it's clipping. Okay, try it again. -1, bam, love it. Okay, and I'm gonna start deleting some of these interior vertices because we aren't going to see or need them. Wouldn't it be funny if like I had his legs on backwards? I'm gonna merge this with something instead. I guess this one is pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, and that's not bad. Oh, I mean, like, I get it now. Like, I kind of get where butt geometry comes from. Let's see. I don't like quads. I really don't like quads. It just seems like the wrong thing to do, but at this point, I sort of have to. 3. Oh, what was I gonna do? I was gonna merge. No, actually, this looks right. This feels okay. Yeah, let's merge these two. Oh, something. These two can get merged at least. At last. I love that it's like at last. At last. We were beginning to think you weren't coming. Bug Center. This is. I am having so much fun. You guys having fun? Is anybody even watching? Let's check our statistics. Let's be insecure. Oh, I love it. Let's see what we got. Oh, he looks terrible. He looks very geriatric. Okay. Maybe these two. That'll do it. Really, that'll do it for me. That'll... And we can just further sculpt this. Oh, look, they're all... Everything is connected now, I think. Alright. Yeah, I think that the legs just need to come in a little bit. Overall. This needs to come up, up, up. Oh, that looks so much better. Still a little bit. I don't know, this like... He needs more, thickness. It just looks geriatric. Estrellas. I wonder what that means. I wonder if there was any significant exchange between Portuguese and Russian in history, just because there's such a similarity there. What did I just do? Oh, there's like cord muscles. Okay. Oh, this is sassy. I love it. Perfect for sculpting an ass. Let's simplify here. Last, probably. It's reasonable. I'm going to bring this down. Bring this over. You can see this kind of... Oh. I don't know what... Let's see what this guy is doing. I mean, like, you can see it, right? You can see that this is some man's Lowpoly behind. And we're hollow all the way through to the feet, which means we've done a good job. Something here. Belly button. Oh god. Wow, I'm thoroughly pleased with this. Let's see. The calves look like this all looks just a little bit weird still. I wonder how much of this I could get rid of though. Like probably. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. That looks about right. Almost. It looked better a moment ago. I think he's got a little bit more. And you're stuck up. Okay. Let's see.
She wants something to do.
I like this. Is this still? Oh no. Oof. We've moved from the Chillhop playlist. I hope I don't get flagged. I probably will, but. Let's go back to. I'm digging this though. Joe Hurts. Hip Millet. Millet. Okay, but we gotta go back. Let's see if there's another one that I could do. Like let's go here. Quietly. I think it just needs like more mass. Like this could probably come in over like here. Let's start with this. Do another one of those blue plane scales. Come on. See what happens. makes a little sense. It's probably too much, but if only his poor legs would catch up. His poor calves. I wonder where the center of like mass is right now. Oh no, can you hear it? Of a phone in distress. Hey, that looks terrible. I'm gonna just do the same like planar scale thing, but not by that much. Wow, it's like really subtle. It's very subtle. Go. I think I'm gonna start an arm and maybe not finish it quite yet. Probably gonna have to do a little cutting. But here's where I'm gonna start with the arm. Cubes again. Scaled down markedly. Rotated. Probably more like that. A little bit out. And this will be the like self-hoods. See what I mean? Nice little pauldrons. So, yeah, and so I just get rid of these two. No, move them. Just move them for now. Move this in, and then do another cube.
I know there's so much on those menus.
Let's see what we got.
I think, or like a possibility.
Okay, I think I'm gonna probably get changed and ready to go in about a half an hour, so. Let's see what time that message was sent. Oh, about a half an hour ago. Yeah, I should probably, Alright. Let's just get one or two more things done with this. Get this removed for stitching. Get that removed. What kind to do it? Do that thing that the protrusion thing that I did before. Scale these out. I love the sound of a police chase. Well, there are so many fewer points to use than I thought there would be. Okay, it's really crowded with the normals.
Yeah, for the reasons, page for everything.
I don't know what this is going to do for me. I don't know if this is going to be any good. Probably going to have to start these over again. I think I recall when I did the arm last time, I had to do it like 2 or 3 times before I was satisfied. You got kind of this like divot relative to the like deltoid, basically. It kind of protrudes here, like you can see there. Protrudes there, recess there. So we can create that with these. I think we are going to go to the sushi place. Yeah, this like makes sense. It's not just not achieving the effect that I want it to yet. Somewhere lower there. Higher.
Is it supposed to be less than the franchise?
Okay. All right. Little. Nice. Well, he's coming along. Um, makes a lot of sense, right? And then I can kind of connect these three at some point. Like, oh god. Shit. That doesn't look too bad. Uh, all right. All right, I think that's all I'm gonna do for the time being. So I mean, we're getting there. And I mean, for only a couple hours, this is decent progress. Still a little like I wonder. Like I said before, I kind of wonder. Oh! You know, I didn't even check this angle yet. Yeah, so the arms are like way far forward. Okay, so that's something I can do right now. You can kind of see through the. Hopefully. I need like a. I don't know. I just need a better reference than these couple of pictures that I've been able to find. just not do it. Alright. Well,
Oh, yeah, just, you can have the rest of that.
it doesn't look too bad. I think. Oh. 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 Okay. Alright, I think I'm going to save my progress and be done for the time being.
You wanna go eat? There's no spiders in the cookie jar yet. And one of those rabbits, I got 5 of them. 19 cents. I think I have to be in the mood first.
Okay.